y'all, it's Mells with Superficial Gallery, and welcome to day 4 of 31 Days with the King. This is a mini-series dedicated to all things Stephen King, where each day we'll do a daily upload where we talk about, something Stephen King asks. So it could be one of his more popular works, and it could also be something that you might not be as familiar with. So knowing that, today's pig is extra special because it's not actually a book. It's an audiobook, okay, Blood and Smoke. And this is what audiobooks used to look like in the 90s, just so y'all know. Nowadays, we use Audible. And just so you know, this is also available on Audible to download. If you can't get your hands on this, it's the same thing on Audible. So obviously going by the name of this, Blood and Smoke, it's some of his horror stories, and the smoking is a focal point of each of the stories. So what I love about this is that it is packaged like a cigarette box. And just to show y'all, it is actually 3 tapes in here. So it's pretty cool. Now, I came upon this from a very special friend of mine. He's my work best friend. So obviously you probably picked up on the fact that I am obsessed with Stephen King, and he knows that as well as everybody else who knows me pretty much. And so when we had an all-team meeting in January, he gifted me with this, and it's one of my prized possessions in my King collection. I never thought I would get my hands on this, to be honest with you. So what I also love about this, other than it looks like a pack of cigarettes, is that King himself narrates all of the short stories on this audiobook. It feels kind of weird saying that because it's not what we think about when we think of audiobooks nowadays. So anyway, the 3 stories on here are Lunch at the Gotham Cafe, 1408, and In the Death Room. So like I said before, each story has a main point or a focal point that is surrounding either smoking or cigarettes or something like that. So, the first story that is narrated here by Stephen King is Lunch at the Gotham Cafe. This story is about a guy who is going through a divorce. He smokes like almost 2 packs of cigarettes a day for a very long time, a long part of his life. And he decides to quit smoking when he finds out that his wife is leaving him. So as divorce goes, you go and you meet with lawyers and you talk through the proceedings of the divorce itself. So this meeting takes place at a restaurant called Gotham Cafe. And so they meet there, and then this weird, chaotic sort of scene unfolds. You'll have to listen to it. It's really amazing. I don't want to give anything away. The thing about the short stories is they're short, so that means there's not a lot of extra meat in there, so it's very easy to spoil the entire thing. And I don't want to do that because I think this is something that everyone would benefit from actually going out and listening to. So what I loved most about the story, though, was the informational part of it that King wrote into it, and the effects of what quitting smoking actually has on your physical and your mental health. It's pretty fascinating. So first story right off the bat, it's really good. It's got great horror in it, and of course some good information on if you're thinking of quitting smoking. So, second story on here is 1408, and a lot of people are familiar with that short story because it was made into a film which starred John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. It is one of my top favorite film adaptations of a Stephen King work. I thought it was done really well. It really captured the scariness of the story. So, in the story, the author he writes about ghost stories, essentially. That's what he's become popular on. And he learns about this haunted room at the Dolphin Hotel. So he goes there, he finally gets the permissions or, the access into the room. The man who is the front desk there at the Dolphin Hotel really tries to keep him away from there. He tries to dissuade him from doing this. He says the room is more than haunted. It's an actual living thing that bad things happen in. But we find out that the author is actually pretty skeptical of paranormal activity, and so this doesn't scare him off at all. You've probably seen the movie, and hopefully you've read the short story. A lot of crazy stuff goes down in room 1408, and the smoking tie-in here is that the author had actually quit smoking. He keeps one cigarette behind his ear as a reminder, and so he's trying to get through staying in this haunted room without the cigarettes or without smoking. So that is a really, really good story. It's probably, to me, it's the scariest one on this audiobook. And the movie was very scary to me also. The last short story included on Blood and Smoke is in the Death Room. So in this story, it is about a man who's been captured in South America, and he's being interrogated on some like government conspiracy type things. The scary part of this was the story kind of, you don't really know what turn it's going to take. It keeps you on the edge of your seat because different methods of torture are discussed and things like that. And it's to me, the funny part, which I don't know if there really is anything funny about being captured and tortured and interrogated, is that this guy devises a plan to escape that actually works, and it is all due to, guess what, a cigarette. So 3 really good stories on this. I love to listen to anything that Stephen King narrates himself because I love his voice, and it just adds an extra layer of creepiness to me if he's actually narrating one of his own works. I just wish he would narrate all of his audiobooks, but that's just my opinion. Now, these were also released in another short story collection that he put out a few years later, and that's Everything's Eventual. The white kind of makes it maybe hard to see. But I love this because it's 14 stories in this short story collection, and all 3 of these are included in it. This is also a really excellent read. I probably won't go into it since we've touched on it today, but I highly, highly suggest you grab a copy of this and read it because it is all of the stories in this are truly terrifying to me. And I would be remiss if I didn't show y'all what his picture looks like in this one. Isn't he dreamy? Look at this dreamboat. Anyway, so that is my pick for today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope that y'all have a fabulous day. No? Are the jokes getting better? I'm just working on it. I'm just trying to do the best I can here. So anyways, I will be back to haunt y'all tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified when new content is put up. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.
Aww.